For joining us. Thank you everyone for joining us. I'm Deborah Cleaver. I am the CEO of VoteAmerica. VoteAmerica is a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization that runs very large-scale voter registration and voter turnout campaigns. We are very strong believers in nonpartisan work. Because the solution to what ails our country lies in people and not in political parties. And Emma, are you keeping up with the waiting room?
I am, yes.
Okay, great. So y'all, I'm going to share my screen. I made a little deck to guide us. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through a deck for you all. And then I will take questions. So if you can just give me 1 second, despite working in technology, it always takes me a second to get set up on. There we go. Okay, so happy October 6th. Everybody, the election is coming, and if you work in elections, this is like Christmas, only it lasts a little bit longer. So I'm going to catch you guys up on what we're doing currently, what we hope to be doing in the days ahead, and then I will take questions. So basically, I mean, these are just facts in the beginning of the slide. So midterm turnout is always lower than presidential turnout. It's generally a 33% drop in turnout for midterm elections, which is obviously not great because we don't really have great turnout to begin with in the United States. We have the lowest turnout of any nation with democratically elected leadership. And that is by design. It's not that Americans don't want to vote, it's that it's harder to cast a ballot in the United States than in any other nation with democratically elected leadership. So we normally see about 62% of the population vote in a presidential election. And we see about 42% of the population vote in midterm elections, which isn't great because I would say that midterm elections are more important than presidential elections. You have every member of the House of Representatives is up for re-election. A third of the Senate is up for re-election. A third of the governors are up for re-election, and then a whole mess of down ballot races. Fortunately, I would say that one of the things that VoteAmerica does best is run get out the vote campaigns where we target already registered voters who are modeled to be mid or low propensity. That means that the voter file, the people behind the voter file, consider them less likely to vote. And partisan groups use the voter file to figure out who they're going to target for turnout campaigns. So partisan groups target high propensity voters and they ignore, almost everyone else. And we do the opposite. We use the voter file to figure out who's going to be ignored by partisan groups, and we run campaigns targeting them. So it's 13 days and 13 hours until the polls open in DC. I don't just know that offhand. I actually have a counter going. And so where we are right now is we're definitely running a smaller GOTV program than we ran in 2020. In 2020, we raised and spent $11 million in about 8 months. And we ran a ton of proactive programs targeting mid and low propensity voters. This year, we've raised a little over 3 million. So we don't have the same budget, which is pretty standard. But what we do have is a lot of opportunity to go bigger on the programs that we know work. So it's less that we have a gap and more that we have all this opportunity that we would like to take advantage of. Yeah, there are a boatload of voters who are registered, who already know how to vote and who are going to sit out the midterm elections, and we would like to really target them. So one program that we've been running for years now is our campus program, meaning colleges and universities. There are 19.4 million college students. 55% are women, 45% are people of color, 66% are under 24 years old. So when people are trying to reach young people, it's just not that hard to reach them. We actually know where they are. And we focus on colleges for a couple of really great reasons. First, if you can get someone to vote, a young person specifically, in 3 elections in a row, they become a lifelong voter. So we consider this like preventing low voter turnout instead of trying to solve it after the fact. So you have a bunch of people on college campuses right now who voted in the presidential and may not vote in the midterm, or who are eligible to vote for the very first time. And you just want to get them as soon as possible. You want to get them early in their journey. Not going to read the whole slide at you, but young people who vote in midterm elections are 55% more likely to vote in the following presidential election. And this has been true going back to at least 2000. So if you invest in young people in 2022, you basically get 2024 on the house. And also, college students can be difficult to reach because they absolutely do not watch broadcast television. They are not their parents. Most of them surf with online ad blockers, and they're just really savvy. So they don't trust a lot of things, but they do trust campus media. And so we have been running programs for years now, like leveraging campus media, meaning the school newspapers, posters that we have students hang around campus, they email newsletters that go out. So we use the marketing channels that they actually trust, and we do not hit them with partisan messaging. They don't trust either political party. And so there's no sense in trying to sell them on something they're not interested in, but they are pretty easy to influence. So if you tell them that it's time to vote, they will. We've been running this program in partnership with a couple of college professors for the past few years. So we've been measuring the impact by having control groups and experiment groups. In 2018, the last midterm election, we found that every campus that we were active on, turnout increased 2 percentage points just by running a single week program. In 2019, we ran a much longer program in Kentucky, Louisiana, and Mississippi. So this was an off-cycle year, and we knew people were ignoring the students. And that year we had an 8 percentage point boost in our experiments on our experiment campuses, which was so high that I was like, I actually can't tell donors that it was that high, because I don't know of a single program that's ever produced an 8 percentage point boost. But the professors came back and they're like, we're professors, we're not making this up. So this program produces results that are so good that sometimes I feel weird telling people how good the results are, but I would like to say it's more that other programs have really terrible results. So this year, what we did is we're going to do like a multi-channel campaign, but for a shorter period of time. Obviously, we can't run 12-week programs. It's pretty late in the cycle, but we're going to run 1 or 2 week programs on college campuses. We're going to take out full color ads on the masthead of their school papers and the back of the student newspapers. There's campus billboards and transit ads, transit hubs. We're going to do that. Their email newsletters work really well, so we're going to do that. We're going to cover the campus in posters. It's sweet. You hire the students to hang them up. It's great. In 2020, we partnered with the student influencers. For everyone who's around my age, that means TikTok. I'm way too old to try to be cool on TikTok. So what we do is we hire actual students who are cool, and we give them a script and we tell them not to be partisan, and then we just let them go to town. And what we did to identify our campuses is first we stack ranked every congressional district in America by the number of competitive races that citizens in those districts can vote in. And then we mapped competitive districts to schools. So in no case would we be, spending money in places where students can't participate like meaningfully in elections. We are going to do this as an experiment with the professors again, so we won't run on all campuses, but it's going to be a great program that has been our easiest to measure program in the past. It's repeatable and it scales with capital. And so far we've raised 200K for this program, which is, sorry, that's 200,000, which isn't bad because we really just started fundraising in earnest for this last week. And then this is an example of some things that we did in the past. In 2020, we were active on every HBCU in America that's a historically Black college or university. And in order to do that, we actually had to create media for some of these campuses. So we actually created these really cool voter guides. And then in partnership with Flight Desk, our partner on this, we printed them. We had students write articles. It was really cool. And this program works really well on the exact people who we should be targeting to participate. Another program that we are running again, which we love, and you guys have probably been here before, so you know we love it. Billboards. We love billboards. We love them because A, they're hard to miss, especially because we will buy every single billboard in an area. And if we don't have a lot of money, it's just a smaller area. But we like billboards because, again, young people don't watch broadcast TV, but everyone notices billboards. There's like companies that study this, and basically Americans spend a lot of time driving, and so they really do notice the billboards. And when you test it, they can tell you which billboards they saw, and things like that. Nielsen, same Nielsen that measures television, you know, they conducted a study on the effectiveness of like transit advertising, and they found that it's really young people who notice the ads. And just in general, a lot of people notice billboards, but the real reason that we do billboards is because they are so cheap compared to anything else. So not only are they effective, but like we have rented billboards in the past for $1,000 for a month. I think the cheapest billboard I ever rented was $250 for a month. This was a billboard in the poorest area of Alabama that you could imagine, but billboards are only in poor neighborhoods. You never see billboards in Greenwich, Connecticut. And we've had people on the ground asking citizens about like if they know their election's coming, and they always say the same thing. Oh yeah, the government put up billboards, because people think the government put them up because they are ugly, which is by design. So this is an example of one of our digital billboards. This was actually in Phoenix, and it just says "Go vote." People assume the government put it up, but I just noticed this the other day. Over on the right side of the screen, that's a billboard that the Democrats put up. So we're not the only one putting up billboards, but we tend to be the only ones putting up useful billboards that increase turnout. And the results have been really promising. With billboards this year, we're running a huge billboard campaign in Wisconsin. Wisconsin has same-day registration, which means you can register and vote at the same time on election day. And there's all this research that shows that same-day registration increases turnout, and the same research shows that nobody knows it exists, because you know governments will implement same-day registration and spend $0 letting anyone know about it. And I speak from experience. I'm in California. Our government rolled out same-day registration. No one knows. I didn't know for about 8 months. So someone gave us $1 million to spend on billboards in Wisconsin. And the billboards are going to say that we're expecting record high turnout, which is messaging that works, and that you can register to vote on election day. So we are super excited about those billboards, and $1 million buys a ton of billboards. And we're looking to expand our billboard program, specifically looking at Arizona and Nevada, both of which have many competitive congressional districts, and Nevada has same-day registration. Another program that is in true Vote America style, we're turning it on, even though we don't have the money for it yet, because we are optimists and we know that the money is coming. We have this really cool text-based, it's basically customer service for voters, but voters text helpline to a short code. Short code means one of those like short 5-6 digit numbers. And then the message is routed to a Slack workspace where trained volunteers respond in real time. And then the message goes back out over text. In 2020, we helped 14,000 voters like actually cast ballots, which was super exciting. And it was in 1 month and we had $0 to market this. So, you know, this year we have $1,000 to market it. We're already doing better than we did back in 2020. And the volunteers were trained and they're ready to answer questions. And a lot of the questions were things like, I'm at the polling place and they're saying I'm not registered. What do I do? And we would say, don't walk away, demand a provisional ballot. Like you can still vote, you can still vote. So I mean, 2 of the people who volunteered now work here full time. So they can actually say it was a really meaningful experience. And, you know, we're not competing with the lawyers committee, like phone-based helpline. We actually hope to, by 2024, like merge this with them. This is just a compliment because a lot of people don't like picking up the phone. They feel more comfortable sending a text message. And a lot of volunteers are really introverted, but really smart and want to help. So you can consider this customer support for introverts. And this is what it looked like. Like people would literally text and it would go to this super cool workspace and volunteers would assign themselves and then it would go back and forth. And this is honestly probably one of the coolest programs that we ran in 2020. And we're bringing it back, y'all. We're bringing it back. We'll just, you know, put it out in the universe that at some point we will have an invoice associated with this and that we hope we have the funds to pay for it. Here's another cool program that we are turning on very soon. If you guys haven't ever been to one of these, we just run a lot of programs. We can't help ourselves, but same thing with same-day registration. People don't know it exists. So we had like an unexpected $50,000 show up. So we are using it to run a postcard test. We're in partnership with Don Green, who is just a legend in the voter turnout space. And we're going to run the program in 4 states, Nevada, Maryland, California, and Michigan. Small scale, we're sending out about 100,000 postcards. And we chose those places because it includes competitive districts and non-competitive districts. And we have found in the past that if you really want to measure how well something works, you need to choose a non-competitive district so that you are confident that a million different groups aren't talking to your control group. And y'all, we designed these postcards in-house and they look exactly like a government postcard. This is the front, this is the back, and these things are ugly. But again, that's the front, that's the back. And I designed them myself. That's why they're so beautiful. But I was actually looking at the last 4 postcards that the government sent me when I was designing this. So it's like my census reminder, my jury duty notice, and then some reminder to fill out some paperwork for Vote America. And we're really excited to do this because, again, same-day registration increases turnout, but only if people know about it. And fun fact, we in 2020 tested telling already registered voters about same-day registration, and it increased turnout with them as well because people can't remember if they're registered to vote. So as long as you're like, don't worry about it, you'll take care of it at the polls. Same-day registration increases turnout, so super excited. And then this is probably why you guys joined. There's a little bit of teaser. So, you know, we sued Georgia not too long ago because they're a bunch of jerks. We also sued Kansas because they're a bunch of jerks. And we won. Georgia settled with us. Specifically, the judge just dismissed said that, decided in our favor. Georgia was trying to say that we were breaking the law by selling people pre-filled absentee ballot applications in Georgia, but we were only sending them because people were requesting them from us. So Georgia passed Senate Bill 202 very early in 2021, trying to restrict the ability of nonpartisan groups to send election mail. And they also made us put across the official absentee ballot request form, across the bottom, a disclaimer that says this is not an official form. And when we refused to do it, they threatened us with felonies. And at some point I was like, so come arrest me. I mean, it got like pretty nasty, but if you are paying attention at home, we have sued 2 states this year, and we have won both lawsuits because states pass a lot of voter suppression laws that are nonsense. And it's important that someone be willing to sue. And we love a good lawsuit. I mean, we are not shy about legal action. And I think that I'm going to stop sharing because I get kind of tired of just looking at a deck, but we are at the question point. Oh, hey, there's so many more people now. So you guys should ask some questions about what we're working on.
I just gave everyone the ability to unmute, so feel free to unmute yourself, jump in and ask a question, or you can also throw the question into the chat.
If you guys don't ask questions, I'll make Emma ask questions because Emma probably knows the sort of questions that people would ask. Matt Albert, do you want to ask a question? Matt is our partner on the mail side. Matt, ask us some questions.
I'll ask you a question. What are some of the tests that you are looking at doing this year?
Oh, okay. So I keep mentioning same day registration. So the billboards, because they're promoting same day registration in Wisconsin, we're going to look to see like the percentage of people who actually take advantage of same day registration in 2022 in Wisconsin versus 2018, which was the last analogous election. With the postcards, we're looking to see if they increase turnout with both registered and unregistered voters, because we think that the postcard will increase turnout with both. And we have 2 different cohorts for that. And with campus, we're specifically testing just how well the program works because we ran it as a test in 2018, 2019. But then, the reason you test is so you can scale up what actually works. And by 2020, we were like, it looks like the fate of democracy is on the line. So we're just going to run this program. Oh, Mark, that's a good question. What lawsuits are we going to be part of after Election Day? So I have sued Texas at least once, maybe twice, and I keep losing because they keep changing the law in Texas. But I just pitched the Texas Civil Rights. I can't remember their full name, progressive group. But Texas grudgingly rolled out online voter registration for people who are already registered and need to update their registration status, but it's impossible to use the site. Like, it's just no way. So it's so confusing. I want to file a taxpayer waste, fraud, and abuse lawsuit, alleging that Texas is intentionally wasting tax dollars by processing paper voter registration forms instead of letting people register to vote online, because it's over $1 to process a paper form. It's about a penny to process an online form. And our friends in Texas think that one might that we might be able to pursue that. I mean, I couldn't be the plaintiff because I don't live in Texas, but I have plenty of friends who live in Texas and happy to raise money for that particular lawsuit. And that's the one that comes to mind right now in terms of the one I'm like most eager to file, because at this point, almost every state has online voter registration and Texas is just like refusing to have online voter registration. Plus, it's fun to sue them. They get all worked up. Anyone else have any questions? I will totally call on you guys. Nathan, I see you're laughing. Oh, Allison, how do we run postcards? Someone is asking a question, but their sound is not working. So I'll ask Allison's. So we have a mail vendor who we work with. It's actually Matt who's on the call. And in this case, they don't need to do anything but like know the information on the card, which is that they can register to vote and vote at the same time. So all the information they need is on the card. We tell them the date range for early voting, and we tell them when election day is, and then we send them to VoteAmerica.com/polls to look up when and where, because we have that information. But our partner / mail vendor takes care of that. And at this scale, the stamp is printed on the postcard. But yeah, I mean, there are a lot of people who send a lot more mail than we do. This is a test, but we are sending 100,000 postcards. So a funny story, we sent 100,000 pieces of mail in 2020, and we weren't thinking, we used my home address as the return address. And I live in an apartment building with like a small mailbox, and about 2% of all mail is returned to sender. My mailman at some point was like, do you know who's getting all this mail? I just lied. I was like, no, I do not. Because there were just like boxes of mail. So this year we will actually rent a very large PO box to send that back to. And if any of you ever do a mail program, don't use your own address as the return address. What program am I most excited about for this cycle? Okay, I should explain. I'm really nerdy. So I'm super excited about the postcard program because people spend a lot of money on direct mail, but almost all of it is in mail that you have to open. And the response rate on direct mail is only about 1%. So 99% of mail like isn't opened. And we think we can get really similar results by just sending people postcards that they don't have to open. And Kellen, beyond that, I mean, our campus program just like prints votes. You put the money in and votes come out the other side. And there are many groups that have very, very large campus budgets who don't often produce the results that I would expect with $30 million budgets. But, you know, I love all of our programs equally. That's kind of like asking me which one our favorite child is. We love them all. We just love postcards a little bit more right now. I don't have kids. I should have that.
Hey, Deborah, I have a question. It's Heidi.
Hi, Heidi. Heidi and I went to college together when we were young voters.
Back when, gosh, yeah, I can't even remember who was on the ballot, but I'm at my son's drum lesson here in San Mateo. So excuse the noise. But first of all, I just wanted to say, I'm so excited you're doing something in Wisconsin. I was there. I have to go there every summer to visit my parents, more or less. And they just buy out billboards everywhere. Oh, the Republican Party, Wisconsin blanketed in billboards. Great idea. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, no, Wisconsin is ground zero. So it's just important to be there.
Yeah, really, really important. And then second, my question was, you know, I do marketing, right? I'm a marketer. How do you track all of the track performance by channel? Like what tools are you using and how do you measure it?
So for the billboards, we're using two ways of measuring. One is we're doing surveys to measure awareness of same-day registration, both before and after we run the campaign. But the other thing we do, and it takes months, is we match people back to the voter file itself. So we can't see how you voted, but we can see if you voted. And so if we do something that targets individuals, we will match them back. And if we do like more of a mass media thing, we'll take like the whole precinct and just match back. So a little bit of, yeah, I mean, a little bit of like softer science, like doing the surveys, which is more traditional. Like, did you know about this before and after we ran the campaign? And then a lot of like, we have 2 professors, we have a data team, and we match like everyone back to the voter file. With schools, you can't get the names of the students because of like privacy laws. So we're going to focus a lot on residential campuses, and then we can see turnout from like their blocks and their precincts. So yeah, it takes a lot longer to do that match back because you have to wait for the voter files to come back, but we'll like publish all of the reports on this. And also, Heidi, I know you work in marketing. We should catch up afterwards because we essentially do marketing, like get out the vote campaigns or marketing. It's just instead of marketing candidates, we're marketing voting itself. So yeah, I guess I've become a marketer.
That was my takeaway from your presentation. Wow, welcome to the dark side, Deborah.
No, I love marketing. I will say this, that we don't do any like Facebook marketing, anything like that. It doesn't work. Like we've tested it and like does not work. People don't trust it. They don't want it. So there's like a lot of channels that people spend a lot of money on, and we're like, it's not worth it. Like, give me a campus newspaper over Facebook any day. Give me like an ugly postcard that looks like the government sent it over like a slick piece of mail any day. Oh, that's also stuff that we've tested along the way, like ugly versus slick. Ugly wins every time. Every time. People do not like feeling that they're being marketed to, especially when it comes to voting.
Yeah, I give you props for your postcard that you put together, the very black and white official looking thing that does not look like a marketing piece at all.
I know, I'm sure there's someone on our team, Kelly, who will do design, even though she's not a designer, and I'm sure she dies a little bit inside when she sees our designs, but they work well. Oh, see, Kelly used to be a designer and then she got pulled back in. So our team is small. So if you have any skills, you just wind up owning whatever that piece of work is. Who else has questions? You guys are so quiet today. So I will ask a question. So you're all on this call because you are interested in the state of US democracy. Oh, Kellen, that's a great one. So I will say, unlike a lot of groups that are like doom and gloom, I'm just going to tell you guys right now, I feel pretty good about this election. Like, not rest on like our laurels good, but like, I feel like we are going to see good turnout at the polls. And I'll tell you why, because this is dark. The Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade was a bad move. Women are not happy right now being stripped with bodily autonomy. So I think that we are going to see pretty high turnout, which always makes me happy, but it's not going to be high enough. So my not being doom and gloom is, I'm not going to say like democracy is going to die if you don't donate $3. I will say that our campus program works, our postcard program is going to work, our billboard program works, and we are actively raising money to go wider on those programs. The campus programs works out to be $1 a student. Like in some schools, it's 97 cents a student, and in other schools, it's $1.16 a student, but it is $1 a student. So, which is just kind of wild. Same thing for postcards. Postcards are about like 80 cents a postcard. So that's great. Emma and I work together on fundraising, and we are on a roll, and we are really hoping to bring in another $500,000 pretty quickly. So if any of you are secret billionaires, your secret is safe with us. Every so often, it turns out that someone we're friends with is a billionaire, but any money that comes in, will be used to increase turnout. And again, you get people to vote in midterm elections. They're more likely to vote in presidential elections, and the presidential elections is going to be wild. It's going to be like insane amounts of spending. So we would prefer to spend money now. And Lisa, so for people who volunteer, we have 2 people internally who train the volunteers, and we have a lot of like training materials because most voters actually have the same questions over and over. Like they're not super complicated. So we just have guidance by state, and then anyone who works here has become an expert. And then if it's something that we can't answer, like we actually need a lawyer, then we refer people to the election protection hotline, because all of their volunteers are lawyers. But like so many of the questions are like, I'm still waiting in line, what do I do? And it's like, don't leave, don't get out of the line. Like if you're in the line, they have to let you vote. But yeah, Lisa, I know you, so I can say you'd be great at it because you're one of the very smart introverts that I was referring to. And especially after pandemic, no one wants to like get on the phone. So yeah, y'all, if people don't have more questions, I think I will give you back 20 minutes of your time, but I'm so glad that you guys joined us. You probably had your choice of Zooms that you could join tonight, and I'm glad that you chose our Zoom. And Emma and I will send out the link to the deck. And we will also upload the recording because I know not everyone could make it. And seriously, y'all, I love GOTV. I love Get Out the Vote. I love our programs. I love our data-driven approach. And also, like, I love that we refuse to be doom and gloom. That, like, we have to be optimistic, you know? Democracy is, even though things I would say have not been great recently, objectively, like we have the power to choose our own leaders and to remove the ones who aren't serving us. So let's remain optimistic about our country and our bright future. And if you are interested in making a donation, we'll send you some information where you can donate online. We also take crypto. No one has ever donated crypto, but we take it. So it took me 2 months to set that nonsense up. So if any of you have a bunch of crypto, I'd appreciate it. But yeah, you can donate online and we will send you links, and it's going to be so much fun. It's going to be so much fun. 33 days and like 11 hours now until polls open. And yeah, thank you all so much. Thank you for joining. It was nice to see all of your faces. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for joining, everyone.
Thank you.
I'm gonna hang out while everyone hops off, or maybe I will. Hi, Delia.
I have a question.
Yes, go for it.
So what can I do like this whole thing, but like, what can I do on a local level? You know, how can I support? Of course I'll donate, but like, what do you feel will be the most impactful action that I could take, you know, in the Bay Area with my
Oh, I would-
communities or whatever that
I would
might look like?
donate. I would volunteer for our helpline because we
Okay.
mostly get requests from out of state. We get requests from states that make it harder to vote. Like California does everything in their power to make sure we can vote. You know, we're all vote by mail and we have drop boxes. That's my cat, by the way. That is my cat who's on the
so
call.
sweet.
She's apparently on her laptop in the other room. But yeah, the helpline is great. People really like working on it, and because you're like talking to people who are trying to vote like right now.
Yeah.
And so that somebody asked me my favorite program, maybe that one. It really is hard to choose the favorite program. They're all so good, but yeah. Do you think
Yeah.
Chief would let me like pitch Chief? Like, could I send like something? Like, I would love to just pitch everyone who's in Chief at once, because that's like a real
Yes.
network of heavy hitters. And seriously, the Supreme Court overturning Roe, it was like, is this
Yeah.
a joke? Is
Oh,
this
of
a joke?
course. Well, and you know how they took action immediately, you know,
Yeah.
to stand. So I would definitely say yes.
Could you put me
Utilize
in
utilize the
contact with,
meetups.
Okay.
also, like first and foremost, like use the meetup platform. And like, if you want to do another one, this was a
Oh
great.
yeah, I would
present-
absolutely do
you know.
this with all of Chief. Could you put me in touch with like whoever like really is in charge at Chief?
I wish I knew. I will send you a link. All I know is about like the programming stuff, but
That would be perfect, because I would be happy to do one of these for Chief.
yes,
Like, and just invite all, because we have like a Zoom meeting room that supports up to 1,000 people. So
great.
it would be great to get like the women of Chief involved.
Yes.
It's just
So
women
I
on the
would
call right now. So I can tell you, I mean, it's women who have to fix this mess.
Yes.
Like that's what's gonna happen.
Like most things.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. They've done enough. They have done enough.
Yes.
And we're gonna fix it, and we're gonna get democracy back on track.
Mhm.
Even the cat's
Okay.
a woman, even the cat's a
Well,
woman.
yeah, I'll definitely send you the link to like
Please do.
submit, and I can also put in like a I forgot what they call it, but it's like a vouching for someone to be a speaker.
Oh.
And we can do that.
Yeah,
Uh,
that would honestly be great, because like I joined Chief just because the network seems so awesome, but now I'm like, these are like the exact people we need to get involved.
yes.
Um,
Yeah, but definitely have your team, if they can go into the portal, under your
yeah, oh
sign
yeah,
in
they
and
can,
just,
they can.
yeah, have them go into the meetups, like, cause
Yeah.
that's really, you have a captive audience and people are really looking to like engage.
Yeah, that's a great
Not
idea.
only the other threads, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Sorry, I
Okay.
didn't mean to take
No,
up so
no,
much
that's
time.
fine. No, that's fine. Okay, now I really am gonna hop off. Catherine, thank you for joining us. Everyone else pretty much on the team or is a cat. So bye, everybody. Have a great day, night, evening.